Hello, I'm Frank Bittner, and we're here today as part of Maryland Traditions. And what I am doing, if you watch too much television, you'll know this from the Home and Garden network as being faux finishing, but in actuality, when I was growing up, we knew it as stain graining or wood graining back in Baltimore. When I was growing up, just about all the row house doors were painted, looked like wood. I really never thought much about it until I saw my father and grandfather doing it. And actually, it's painting your door, whether it be old wood that you can't restore, refinish, a steel door, fiberglass door, really anything. A base color, decide what you want to wind up with, whether it be oak, and when that dries, it's the second layer of stain, and all we're doing is wiping off in a certain pattern. Step, just run the brake through it. This I'm doing on glass because that's normally what I teach people on. If I were doing it on wood at this point or directly on the paint, it would look totally different. Faux finishing or stain graining, as we always knew it, had three eras of use in America. First was between the 1770s and 1830s. We were having a slight disagreement with England, and they controlled the waves, the oceans, and the trade, and all the mahogany that came from South America went to London. So our furniture builders here in America were left to build from the local woods, which was pine, poplar, and a host of others. Typically what they would do is to fake finish a mahogany finish on their furniture when they were finished. The second era was the 1880s, 1890s, when home builders would, in an effort to get the job done fast, would build homes and not pay attention to the species of the trees as they were fallen and sent through the mill for the finishing woodwork. So typically even doors were built where each panel would have been a different type of wood. One panel could have been, let's say, pine, walnut, oak, nothing matched. And what was the norm was when the house was finished is to call the painter in to paint and fake finish the whole house and ask the owner, what flavor wood would you like? So it was fake finished from day one. This particular house in Cambridge, the owners in 2002 when they bought it, the varnish had turned black as it does after 120 years, and they were going to have it all stripped. And I was able to be there when they were discussing this with me, and I took a look at it and said, you don't want to strip this because you're not going to like what's underneath. They thought what they were seeing under the black varnish was wood, and what they were seeing under the black varnish was fake. So I spent the next 3 months refinishing all the woodwork in the house. This door is just a piece from Lowe's that I use for explaining how I do the wood graining. Actually, it's cardboard. And my last effort has been the technique for applying the finishes onto fiberglass boats. These are 2 sterns, mahogany and teak. Process is pretty much the same. technique is a little different. And the clear coat is a very special clear coat that enables it to hold up. This has been in the water now 5 years and looks very good. This area here is a single piece engine compartment that I taped off and stenciled so that it appears to be an inlet. Different wood patterns.
So how long ago did you put that on?
Oh, at the time? I guess 10 minutes. But what I'm using for demonstration is totally different than when I'm really working. And I'm doing it on glass, an old storm window. Because I teach when I teach people, I teach on storm windows. Yeah, it sure is. And these are regular graining combs. They're made for this purpose. This is a set that's been in the family for a while. It's been about 1850. And I use these mostly for furniture.
I saw the pictures of the boat transoms you did. They were wonderful, different boards with different grain and stuff.
It's all on one piece of mahogany. Yeah, I mean, it's all on one piece of fiberglass.
And those idiots that make the plastic, paneling, and the grain goes right. What was supposed to be two different boards, and they have the grain going straight across it as if it's one board, and don't have enough sense to make it look like it's separate.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people who do things today haven't taken the time to really see how things will work.
Just look at
And one of the secrets of it is to understand how something's built to start with. One of the reasons in my own community, Baltimore, the graining was really popular was between 1900 and 1920, a lot of the homes were bought by Eastern European immigrants, Czechs, Poles, Ukrainians. And they knew it as a cheap way of making the doors on their row houses look better. And that's why it was so much of it in my own community where I grew up.
So you do different cuts, like quarter sawn versus,
We try to do anything and everything. Learn the different grains of wood and how to make them look right. One interesting thing was when I had moved here, I found this door on a farmhouse. Ironically, when I had moved here from Florida, I found this door section on a farmhouse that was being remodeled. They were throwing the door away, and I took one look at it and said, that style and that technique is a Czech or Polish immigrant from Baltimore, or possibly maybe straight from Eastern Europe. What's it doing in Dorchester County? And I later found out that there were about 15 families that had came from Czechoslovakia and Poland into Baltimore near St. Wenceslas Church, that community. And they preferred farming as opposed to living and working in factories in the city. So there were 15 families that were sponsored about 1880 that moved to Secretary, Maryland, worked on farms, eventually saved their money and built their own homes, bought their own farms. So this was the connection. That it's rather funny that I found this in Secretary, but it also has a little paint buildup around the mail slot. Yeah, that's paint buildup around the mail slot. I don't know if the door.
But somebody grained it dark first,
they
right?
Grained, the whole door was grained dark, and they put the mail slot cover on. Then the second time they grained it lighter.
And made it look like they're different types of wood
Right.
and stuff. It's really cool.
And it wasn't until the mail slot cover came off that you saw the first layer of graining. So this door is fake wood over fake wood.